Hello and welcome back to Hoi 4, Clash at Word, Yale Rhetoric. A director Magnificus Nixon? But not for long. Return of the Emperor. Ancient bones are placed upon a metal slab, hovering over a noxious syrup of chemicals and magical compounds. All around it, scientists, engineers, and enchanters rush, checking instruments and calculations before rechecking them. After all, this experiment demands perfection! One little flaw, one little miscalculation, one wrong glyph. Any of these could forever destroy the bones of Grover II. When the project's head is satisfied with all necessary precautions have been met, he gestures with a talon. At once, every griffin takes up position. A grad student pulls the fateful lever, and metal slab begins to lower and to stew. Soon the bones are submerged, a moment passes, then electricity is applied and other chemicals are injected. Outside, the lights of all of Gamia flicker off as the Yalish power supply is taxed to its limits. The demand for energy mounts, and soon the lights begin to flicker. A young engineer screams as the glass of a nearby dial shatters, showing them in debris, a minor wound in the name of progress. Just a little longer, the project head mutters. This was the culmination of centuries of slow progress. I must take a drink of water first. Or actually, I have Coke right now. It must succeed. Finally, the electricity, the dials show the satisfactory amount of energy, and flow of electricity ceases. Then the slab is slowly raised, dozens of eyes widen, and some griffin gasps at the sight before him. Knees hit the floor as every griffin in the room bows before who they have wakened. A figure who was previously only known from paintings and legends. An unmatched general and feared ruler. Before them is Grover II. And here we are. So, hey Grover, how are you? The resurrected autocrat. Grover II was the second ruler of Griffonia, of the Griffonian Empire, ascending the throne in 785 ALB. By the time of his ascension, Grover II was already an accomplished general, and he commanded many of his father's forces when he unified the Griffin states. The start of his reign was characterized by the Aquilian insurrection, when the emperor's armies crushed before rebellion could spread throughout the empire. It is said that in his anger, Grover II killed the discreet king of Aquilia himself, and ordered Aquilia burned. To keep the discreets from seeking revenge, he married Giselda Discreet. The emperor decided to entrust the idol of Boris, the empire's most sacred relic, to his brother Guteau, who he had made king of Griffinstone, starting a period of early stability. In 799, the emperor started his conquest south, adding Sicamon and Austria to the empire. Grover II was still not content with his domain, fearing his eastern frontier with the ponies of the Riverlands. Therefore, he sanctioned the Knights of Hellquill to crusade against them. Internal squabbles and economic woes would delay any large-scale efforts to attack the river ponies for 40 years. It is widely believed that Grover III and Giselda were the ones constantly fixing the bad domestic policies of their father and husband. In 852, the aging emperor decided to finally press forward. He flew east at the head of a massive host of knights and soldiers, eager to finish his conquest of the Griffonian continent. Battle after battle was fought, and Grover himself was almost invincible in his enchanted armor, the terror of his foes. That was until the Nimbusian rallied to save what was left of River City. The Strategos of Pegasi force had lured the Griffins into a choke point. There, the unthinkable happened. The towering griffin was in the thick of the battle, leading his most faithful knights to punch a hole in the unflinching Nubicean battle line, when a startled young hoplite threw his spear at him instead of staying in formation. Grover was hit through the eyes and died instantly, which routed his forces. And now he's returned to Griffonia to finish what he started. Here we are. Oh, yeah. We're back, baby! Man, crazy. This is crazy. I love this. Oh, I love this one so much. It's so cool. Alright, let's do some improving worker conditions. The Emperor's back. Let's improve worker conditions real quick. Okay. So we have some rising tensions with the armed forces. The generals of Yale have a different idea how to wage war than the Emperor does. It is hard, even frustrating to the point of madness, to have a commander who insists that fire by rank is a cutting-edge doctoral improvement. Bronze Hill submits to us. Flurries of letters have arrived in the capital today from hordes and hordes of loyal diamond dogs who wish for the great emperor to return the nation to glory. They seem to be replaying the gift that Grover II had granted them under his reign and want to serve him once again in majesty. We have no reason to refuse, but the emperor is a spiteful Griff, and he may be upset by the lack of action during the Regency crisis. Welcome home, my friends. Of course I'm grateful to have you back. But how could I ever refuse my friends? We also have Behind the Times. The Emperor has brought with him a fine knowledge of the weapons of his time, cannons and muskets. Although some in Griffonia still sport such weapons, the core of the Empire has moved in more modern weaponry. A few days after ascending the throne, there was an accident where the Emperor ordered an arms factory to forge 100 bronze cannons to reduce our artillery deficit. We must get the Kaiser up to speed for all our sakes. Oh god, them losing them on their side really made them instantly collapse. What the heck? That was fast. Jeesh. Update old tactics. War has changed in my absence, and it is imperative that I learn new ways as soon as possible. How? The fall of Griffin. That was quick. Okay. New ways as soon as possible. Light infantry and bronze cannons are no longer the mainstay of Griffin armies. Machines plow through and fly over the battlefield, and machine guns can mow down a formation in seconds. Worst of all, wars are not decided by a single battle, but by a slow grind of moving front lines. I know, it's weird, but you'll get used to it. I mean, you honestly must. I mean, we need you. I mean, the Empire needs you. Why do you think we were so desperate to get you back? Sure, you're a great leader. We also desperately could just use your help in general. Let's see. Let's start with this. It took the engineers and scientists of our country a while to instruct the Emperor about the modern weapons of war. He seemed particularly interested in the concept of aeroplane and the tank. However, he has yet to witness many of these weapons in action. Perhaps a good old war can help. Research the family tree. My great-great-grandson is Grover the Sixth, supposedly in control of Griffinheim, but in fact a bird in a cage. His father lost the empire, but he was sickly and too young to rule. Grover the Fourth, a fat disgrace of an emperor. The Sixth cannot take after those two, or we will never have a stable empire. So I will raise the kid myself to prepare him for rule. Sounds good to me. We gotta get him first, though. As you said, he's kind of trapped. But we'll get him. We might have to force our way in, though. Let's see. You have a lot of skills. War hero. You're the undead are usually animated magical creatures made from the remains of creatures infused with forbidden magic. They therefore take a wide array of forms. However, other forms of unlife exist thanks to the twisted imagination of world necromancers, such as vampires, ghouls, liches, and so on. They are practically immortal and sustained entirely by magical energy. Hey, Emperor. Fighting for Great Grover II inspires the troops even more, resulting in fearsome offenses. Wow. That's some good bonuses. Guild Staffer. General max army size. So that's if you're a general, not a field marshal. think I'm gonna place you in as as a general for now. This event, I'm pretty sure this event's very, like, the part of it's very different if, our kid died to the, people. But, Grover II sat on a makeshift throne in a manor near Greenback, his temporary seat of power. Night had fallen, but the Emperor did not require sleep anymore. Energy always welled up inside of him, as if he had an unending reserve from centuries of sleep. Unfortunately for the Kaiser's subjects, they did not possess this determination, and the historian Grover called on to explain the history of the continent to him was on the verge of falling over from exhaustion. I see, and that brings us to the present and Grover VI, the Emperor concluded, and the long dialogue on the story of his offspring, his voice commanding an unnatural echo, inspiring awe in those before him. Yes, Your Majesty, that is all about your direct children, the historian greedily answered, eager to get to bed and hoping his lord would not ask questions about. Now tell me about Guido, my brother. All has changed, but I see Griffinstone is still on the map. That has to be quite of this story. The Emperor sat back, his light blue eyes turning gentler at the mention of his dear sibling. The historian swallowed, and with a trembling voice, Are you certain? Are you certain? Of course I'm certain. In fact, scribe, dispatch a courier to Griffinstone at once. Tell Guido to fetch me the idol of Boris. The scribe who sat at the steps under the Grover's seat woke from his slumber and looked up with big eyes. Your Majesty, I can't. Grover glared down at his servant. You lost the ability to write? Send it in the morning, then. The historian took the words. Your Majesty, your brother's line is extinct. And Guido, he lost the idol. The arcane energy around the Emperor flickered for a second, as his expression changed from surprise to disbelief to anger, as his voice thundered through the windy manor. Guido, my brother? His son spent, and his line ended. Boros abandoned us. His claws clenched into a fist and smashed down on the chair. Wicked laugh. I returned to this, a child and a corpse, the last hope of the Empire. The Kaiser of Griffonia sat down as calm and determination drove out the anger. Well, I've won with first odds. Yeah, you could not have a child. It could be two corpses. Well, actually, your corpse and your kid and like two of your grandkid and great-grandkid, whatever, their corpses as well. So at least the kid's still alive, because that could not be true if we were in another timeline. So yeah. The massed valley of a line of infantry was a roaring force of nature, the smoke of 10,000 muskets rising up in the distance. War was honorable. The side that broke ranks first lost, and bravery won the day. New guns, both personal weapons and artillery pieces, have made this way of warfare suicidal. Marvels of science, yes, but the death of honorable war. Can war even be honorable? I might need to wait till Griffinheim capitulates, because I think I need to go to war with whoever wins, really. Because I don't think that's gonna even be... I don't think I'm gonna get enough for what I need for my focuses. So I might need to wait a little. Griffinheim part does not exist. Yeah, and the Griffinheim owned and controlled. Okay, I just need Griffinheim. So maybe I'm good enough? There's not much left, though. Take back the throne. The fools in Griffinheim refuse to acknowledge me as the rightful emperor of all of Griffonia. They are content to leave me stuck in Yale. Yale! These religious zealots and self-serving nobles have squandered the Reich. They must think themselves clever right now, feasting in my palace. They were all traitors from the very beginning, and they deserve a traitor's death. I will deliver swift judgment. upon them all. Okay, see you soon. Bye. Can't wait to deliver swift justice on all of you. It's gonna be real fun. Oh my goodness, you went to war with them as well? Why would you do that? Are you just trying to lose before I can fight you? Is that it? Honestly, it feels like that might be it. They've done the same exact thing again. Oh, you didn't. You did not go communist. Also, that is one hairstyle. Alright, alright. Go! Alright, who do we have that's defensive? I want a few of you just to sit in the cities. Okay, there we go. We took Griffinheim. Oh, come on. They are so close. Honestly, I could probably just take some random spots and they'd fall at this rate. Yep. Well, I got Griffinheim. Let's see. Can I get a way to reach it? No. Nope. Doesn't look like it. Well. Oh wait. Maybe I can. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, it doesn't seem like I'm gonna be able to, gather anything else, so, yeah. Well, I got the capital, so, you know, I am able to do my tree, so that's good. You're stuck there, now, so you guys can get on that. You're gonna chill there. Good luck over there. Have fun. Everyone else, get back. Highways to Yale. Yale's infrastructure has been neglected for years, since the area lacked the heavy industrial traffic of Greenback. It is imperative that Yale get properly integrated into the transportation network, so that the Southwest will be open for future industrial development. Woo! Let's go! That's what we all wanted. Let's go! It's good to be home. Can you believe the palace looks worse than it did when I lived there? Only degradation. It will need quite the renovation if it is to be the center of a true empire again. For now, it is time for dozens of audiences and visits to the most important institution of the country. Now I know that Griffinheim and her thousands of bureaucrats are the foundation which the imperial throne rests on. Alright. The Last Guard. Grover walked down the halls of the Imperial Palace. He remembered when they were always full of servants, nobles, and warriors. He would walk among them, consulting the captains, and entertaining the guests of the court. And at the end of the day, he would retire to the Imperial dormitory to take counsel with his wife and get a good night's rest. But now he was here for a different reason. A child occupied his bed. A child of his own blood, but one controlled like a puppet by the corrupt and greedy. Gone were the days of the true champions of the Empire, but he may yet restore them. A battle still raged on outside. Remnants of the Imperial army fought his Yalish soldiers. While they may not have been raised as warriors, they fought well enough for Grover. He arrived at the gate of the master bedroom, faced not by a full guard detail, but by a single dog. The dog rose from the wooden stool upon which he was seated and levied his claymore against the griffin in front of him. Turn back, invader. Though I know you are unlikely to be swayed by words, I shall at least try. Leave the Emperor alone. I will not let you take his life. Grover thought, then asked, "What is your name?" Surprised by the informality of the question, the dog responded, "I am Bento, captain of the Imperial Guard and personal protector of the Emperor of the Griffonian Empire." He pointed his blade at Grover. "Turn back." Grover answered with silence. He figured his actions would speak louder. He drew his own blade from his hilt and prepared to duel the captain. So be it. The captain made the first move, striking with a speed few at his age possessed. Grover was surprised by the agility of the dog's movement, but was able to parry the first strike. The two then began to engage in a startling bout of blows, taking up the whole length of the hallway. Bento fought with all the bravery and fury characteristic of him and his people, but in the end, he simply could not match Grover. The hound was cowed and thrown to the side, wounded by his own magical weapon, but very much alive. Bento looked up to see the towering figure of Grover over him, but in defiance he growled at one last response. "If you must kill me, then just do it. I cannot bear to see my young emperor be shamed or perish. But whatever you do, you will never have my submission." Grover cocked his head and gazed down upon the dog. "I know, Bento, but you dying here would be almost as shameful as my own death." Grover put down his sword beside the dog and began to walk towards the emperor's bedroom. And as he walked past, the loyal dog looked upon the inscription on the hilt of his legendary blade, revealing its owner. Emperor Grover II. Hey, I lose a resurrected aristocrat. I lose some recruitable population, which is not what I'd like, but I get rid of that daily political power law, so that's good. My blood. Grover stepped into the imperial bedchamber and felt an eerie comfort being in this room again, both feeling at home and in a place utterly foreign to him. It had changed so much. The bed he had slept on was gone, and what he could assume was the replacement was shoved into a corner to make space for the much smaller bed that now sat in the room's center. Grover paused. The sheets were thrown about, the pillows off the side, and a cup of water was spilled beside the bed, and of course there was no emperor. Grover saw All this just in time to hear a creak from the rafters above. Turning his head, he could barely think before a small figure swooped down and set upon him. Ah, die, you Merite beast! Oh, the Child Emperor. Aww. He's probably so proud. Yeah, fight, Child Emperor. You're a little soldier. Oh, the Child Emperor flew circles around Grover's head, eventually latching on to an exposed rib and proceeding to swing his mighty weapon, a small wooden play sword, and beating the skull of his attacker over and over. Grover, powerful and mighty as he was, could not seem to stop this annoying brat. He did not wish to hurt the child. This was, of course, his own flesh and blood, but Boros above, he wouldn't stop hitting him. Grover tried and failed to reach around and pluck the child off his back, with the younger Grover being firmly latched on and with no intention of stopping his relentless assault upon his ancestor. Every time he tried to speak, the Child Emperor would merely scream louder to cover up the noise. Grover reached the end of his patience. He thought that if he could just fly directly upwards and hit a rafter, he might be able to throw the pest off. But before he could put his master plan into motion, Grover saw another figure in the room. It was Binto, once again standing despite his wounds. Grover prepared himself for a duel once more. Sword-wielding child on his back or not, he would not cease nor desist. But Binto was not here to fight. He was leaning against the door frame, clearly still wounded from their first bout. He merely raised a paw at the young Emperor, who, upon seeing his sworn protector and oldest friend, halted his assault, if only for a moment. Grover, you must learn to respect your ancestors. The dog was able to stand straighter, supporting himself on the blade Grover had tossed to him. I think you owe a bit more courtesy to your great-great-grandfather. My what? Emperor Grover II, conqueror of Griffonia. And we get, Binto. Nice. Oh, how good are you? You're alright. I'll definitely take you. I'm going to promote you instantly. Let's give you some juice. Let's go for Featherisa. Let's go ahead and throw down... Oh, pff, great. This is my capital now. Okay, I'll throw them down over here then, I guess. There we go. For now, I think I just want you guys in a circle. Yeah, two of you should be in the capital. I mean, come on. Eagleclaw and Witchmars. The influential noble families of Eagleclaw and Witchmars refuse to bow before me. If they do not bend now, I will see them as rebellious traitors. Featherisa and Strawberry are vital to the Imperial Heartlands. I will send them an ultimatum. But before we do that, I think this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And as always, peace.